Hey guys, what's up? It's an American Vidiot here from morbidlybeautiful.com. Here to do another weekend review. This is my third one, I believe. Yeah, so again, have a nice stack of movies. Unfortunately, they weren't as good as the last couple weeks, but do have some interesting things to say about them. So you know how it is. Without much further ado, let's get into these. Okay, so first one I watched is don't know the date on this one. I have no idea, but it's a zombie movie, I guess, called Destined to be Ingested. And yeah, it's right there. And I got this in this 10 movie pack called The Dead Walking, and very misleading because it says zombie movies, but let's just get into it. This is about a group of friends who go to this sort of secluded island to party. They have someone drive them there, or like use a boat, and yeah, it's just filled with drugs, and they're drinking, partying, and essentially at first it turns into a sort of slasher movie. They get killed off one by one by these crazy natives that live in the island, and it hints that they might be cannibals, but you never really get a good clarification. But anyway, yeah, so they get picked off one by one, and then after that, it turns into a love story, a drama love story between the survivor of the group of friends and one of the natives, and then they want to marry, and she gets pregnant, and then at the end, zombies. Yeah. It sounds confusing, and trust me, it is. This is by far one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and I think I can say that pretty safely. And I have an open mind. I can be critical, but like I like a wide range of movies, whether they're good or bad. I try to as hard as I can to find the good things about this one. This movie, if they stuck to one specific genre or subgenre, I think they could have pulled it off at least decently. But because they're trying to pull off all these different things in one 78-minute movie, it does not work at all, and it's shot horribly. It's actually the best thing about the movie is the way it's shot, because it's shot amateurish, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful location, so I can give it that. Other than that, nothing. Acting is the worst. The effects or lack thereof. And then out of nowhere, zombies come, and I think it's at the last 10 or 5 minutes of the movie that you see zombies, and it happens out of nowhere. Just zombies, and it makes no sense. Destined to be Ingested is awful. I won't lie, though, I did enjoy watching it. It's borderline so bad it's good and just painfully bad. Like, I don't know where to put it in between those two, different titles. It's just in the middle for me. It's not good at all. I don't recommend you watch it, because here's the thing. It needs to be seen to be believed, but it shouldn't be seen by anybody. I don't recommend this one, guys. It's really bad. I can't give a 0 out of 5 rating. I can't. I don't know why, but a 0.5 out of 5. Really, it's not good. Okay, going from awful to pretty good, we got Blackout. This one has a really good cast. It has Amber Tamblyn, the guy who plays Littlefinger in Game of Thrones, and Armie Hammer. So, interesting cast. It's about these 3 people who have kind of depressing backstories, and you figure out about their backstories through flashbacks, and you see glimpses at the beginning, but then it's sort of their whole backstories sort of unfold by the end of the movie. So it's just these 3 different people, and they're sort of trapped in this elevator because of a blackout that happened in this rundown apartment complex. And then you think they're all pretty decent people, and then it turns out that one of them is kind of a homicidal maniac, and things unfold and it gets tense, and then, you know, that's all I'll say about the movie. It's more of a psychological thriller than a horror, but it's very effective. I liked this one quite a bit, and I was very surprised, because I didn't know really what to expect. Like, I like elevator movies, they're suspenseful, you know, Devil's pretty good, but I just didn't know what they would be able to do with it, and it's very claustrophobic, and, I liked the way that things unfolded. It ended up being pretty disturbing, and, hard to watch at some points. But yeah, I recommend that one. Let's see, 3 out of 5. 3.5 out of 5. Yeah, so, you know, that's pretty good. Pretty good movie. I recommend that one. Another really surprising one is The Corpse of Anna Fritz, and this one is from 2016, I guess. It's a Spanish movie, and it's about this celebrity, Anna Fritz, and she's beautiful, you know, and she dies, and this guy who does like autopsies, he has her corpse in the morgue, and he shows his friends, obviously, he shows it off that he has this beautiful like model in his morgue, and his friends come and they they want to be the last ones to have sex, you know, with her corpse. I mean, it's as like grotesque as it sounds. It's they're just awful people. And then out of nowhere, for some reason, she wakes up, and the rest of the movie is them trying to figure out what they should do with her, because everybody knows that she's dead, so they're wondering if they should kill her or not. And I'll leave it at that. It sort of unfolds, progresses as the movie goes on. Yeah, very satisfying movie. And what I mean, I love the ending. It's one of the most satisfying endings I've seen in a while. It's good. It's a very underrated and good movie. I haven't heard a lot about this one. And Spanish flicks, you know, I haven't seen a whole lot of them, but the ones I have seen are really good. Yeah. Great movie. 4 out of 5. Yeah. Great. Next one, I don't think you'll be able to pick up, for good reason. This is Slow Torture Puke Chamber. I'm not gonna get into the plot of this one. Not because there's a lack of plot, just because I don't even think it's necessary. You should already know what you're getting into. Slow Torture Puke Chamber. Yeah, vomiting and blood is pretty much, that's the premise of this movie. That's you see this whole story right there? It should have just said vomit, blood. Period. That's all it needed. But there is actually some sort of story that they're trying to convey, which, I don't know. It's this girl who had this, you know, sort of traumatizing past, and it's the downfall of her life, and how she got into this, like messed up stuff, and how just her life sucks, basically. And it's an interesting concept, maybe for a short. This is, how long? 75 minutes? And it's just 75 minutes of complete chaos. It's vomiting, blood. I couldn't take it, really. And I'm kind of immune. What I mean is that things don't really disturb me as much, because I've seen a lot. This one is kind of got to me. I don't like vomit very much. I'm not a big fan of it. And I just was really curious about this one. And this is actually the third one in a trilogy, directed by Lucifer Valentine, of course, called the Vomit Gore Trilogy. And these are all out of print. I don't think you can find them. Not that you should watch them, but if you do, you might have to get it online. And it's from Unearthed Films, who puts out some interesting titles. Yeah, but this one, the best thing I can say about it is two things. The gore, the effects, the practical effects look really good, most of them. It's pretty impressive, and Unearthed Films has some pretty decent effects in their movies, and this one is not an exception. And then I like the story, the quote-unquote story that they're trying to tell. I think that's interesting, and one feature-length movie is enough, you know? I would say a 30-minute short is enough. There's 3 of these. 3 80-minute movies of vomiting, and gore. And each one, they're just trying to, like, ramp up the violence and the shock value. As a movie, I can't give this any more than maybe a 1.5 out of 5. It's just not, it's not enjoyable at all. But it's pretty interesting, so, you know, make of it what you will, I guess. It's an interesting watch, for sure. I can't recommend it to anybody unless you're into that kind of, like, gruesome stuff. Okay, 2 more, and these are VHS, actually. I watched 2. And the first one that I'll talk about is, what's this? Horror of the Blood Monsters from Super Video. Yeah, so another one that just kind of has an insane plot, but it's, the world is taken over by vampires, Earth. And this group, completely unrelated, this group of, scientists go out into space, and discover a new planet, and they go on there to see if there's any life. Turns out there is life. There's bat people, snake monsters, and, like, a savage group of feral humans. This is directed by Al Adamson, who's sort of notorious for these 50 and 60s, B monster movies. So, by that, you sort of know what you're getting into. I can't really say too much about this movie because it is just a B movie, an old B movie. And the effects are awful. There's tons of stock footage. Acting is, the good acting is minuscule. Plot makes no sense. You know, I talked about the vampires at the beginning? That's 5 minutes of them discussing vampires. They have nothing to do with the movie. A lot of plot, like, plot points in this movie have nothing to do with the actual movie. They talk about it, and then it's just gone. Never reference it. I don't understand what the point of mentioning the vampires was, because they're not in the rest of the movie, and they add no value to it. I have no idea what went on with this movie. I recommend it, though, only if you like these kind of, like, so bad, cheesy movies. It was a fun watch. And what they did with the planet, for some reason, it kept changing colors. The planet was a different color, I got that. But instead of making the planet, the area, a different color, since they shot in locations that just looked like Earth, I guess, they put a, like, this colored film strip kind of thing over the camera to make everything look like that color. So even the people, they looked red, if it was red. Then they changed it to purple. And they changed it to green. And it was just, it looked really bad. Any time they were on the planet, it just looked like a different color. And there was no, like, regular colors. And, oh, great. Here's the tagline. I don't know if you can read that, but that says, "First there was Plan 9, and now there is Horror of the Blood Monsters." Great selling point to compare your movie to Plan 9 from Outer Space. You know what you're getting into that movie. You know what you're getting into with this movie. It's just a cult, like, B movie. Yeah, I mean, 1.5 out of 5. Just because there's not much you can expect, but it's just not a good movie, you know. Here's another one, my last one. Really, is that my last one? No, it's not, actually. This is my second to last one. Project Nightmare. This is put out by Academy Home Entertainment. And, gosh, another one that has a freaking insane plot. Okay, let's get into this. 2 guys wake up out of nowhere in this, desolated area. And they're attacked and followed by this unknown force, is how they describe it. They don't know what it is. It's mainly just flashing lights in the sky, but it's like messing with their heads and they're trying to get away from it. So the plot progresses and they figure out that it's a government experiment to mess with their minds. Yeah, not much to plot, but that's basically what it's about. I've heard lots of comparisons to Cabin in the Woods, because of the whole government, like, manipulating these people for an experiment kind of thing. I can see it, but not really, you know. There's no way Joss Whedon saw this movie. completely obscure. It's not as good as Cabin in the Woods either, obviously, but it does have its charm, and I actually kind of liked this movie quite a bit, if I'm being honest. It had these really bad effects, but in a way they were effective. It was like old 70s like strobe light effects. Because they were bad, but they were effective because they did their job. It was supposed to be a trippy, like, psychological, messing with your brain kind of movie. And the effects added to that because they were so just, like, they popped and they're just, like, blinking lights, and it's kind of seizure-inducing. So it works. It works well with the movie. And it has some pretty creepy visuals and scenes, especially towards the end. The end, it just completely, like, any mainstream Hollywood factor that this movie had at the beginning was completely gone by the end. It was throwing all this stuff at you. But by the end, it's kind of like, it's very psychological. I was very surprised by this one, and I did enjoy it. It's not great, just because they weren't able to accomplish much with their small budget. But I did get some enjoyment out of that, so that's why I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 star rating. Last one I'll talk about briefly is Sweet Home, and you can check this movie out on Netflix right now. I don't know how long it's going to stay up there, but it is on Netflix currently, so I do recommend you watch it. This is sort of a home invasion kind of movie about this girl and her boyfriend going to this another, like, desolated area apartment for her boyfriend's birthday, and they discover that, like, there's other people living there, and they have a very sinister plot, which I won't get into, but they see the couple, and now they're holding them hostage, and yeah, it progresses from there and goes downhill. Not the movie, just the things that the characters have to deal with. Yeah, what I loved about this movie, I wouldn't say loved, what I really liked about this movie is the way that it progresses. Because you think it's going to go this specific way. And I was like, okay, that's sort of whatever, I guess, decent. But then it changes. And it's weird. It changes not only in tone, but in story, kind of. And I really liked it. I really liked what they did, because I won't spoil it, but this one thing happens, and from there you're like, whoa, crap, that's crazy. Yeah, and then from there it just goes bonkers, and it has some really good effects too. They just ramp up the gore too when this thing happens that changes the movie. Yeah, so that was cool, and I liked the characters too. You cared for the characters, you wanted them to survive, and you wanted them to get out of this crazy situation. And to figure out if they do or not, you know, you'll have to watch the movie. I won't say too much about this movie. If I already have, I'm sorry, but I really did like this one. It was a very good watch, and it's short too. It's only like 80 minutes. So if you ever just need something to watch on Netflix, go watch this one. It's really good. It's one of the few actual good horror movies that Netflix has. I'll give this one a 4 out of 5. It really did surprise me. I liked it a lot. So yeah, guys, that will be it for this long video. Yeah, I have had this stack of movies. Most of them were not so great, but I did have a couple that were pretty enjoyable that I do recommend you watch. Yeah, thanks for watching this video again, guys. You know, share, comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will be here again in a week, hopefully. Thanks for watching. Bye.